Alright, The Northman. It's come, it's gone, I'm gonna talk about it. Let's do this. I was looking forward to this film with a level of hype that I feel pretty immune to most of the time. I love movies more than almost anything else, but I rarely get excited about them until they're out and I know their reputation. I'm not the type of person to scream when the latest Marvel or Star Wars trailer comes on, for instance, but I do have certain expectations attached to certain directors. I get a little flutter in my little JAMO stomach when a new film by Scorsese or Tarantino or David Fincher is announced, just to name a few, because they're the best of the best. And I feel like there's an unspoken accord we have with those filmmakers that their movies will be at least good, if not great. Now, those guys are masters, and they've been around forever, but it's different when you talk about the new school of filmmakers. There aren't a lot of young directors that have that effect on me, but Robert Eggers, the director of The Northman, is one of them. His first film, The Witch, was a revelation in the realm of horror cinema when it dropped in 2015, and his follow-up, The Lighthouse, was a masterful blending of technique, tension, and thematics that tickled my brain in a similar way to complex literature, as nerdy as that sounds. But both of those movies were among the best releases of their respective years. So fast forward to 2021, and I find out that Eggers is making a violent Viking adventure? Let's do this! Robert Eggers plus a black metal aesthetic seems like a match made in Valhalla or Helheim. Hell? Viking Hell. H-E-L. Whatever. There was just no way that this movie was not going to be awesome. And it was good. It was pretty good. Yeah, I liked it. Now I'm certain you can hear the disappointment in my voice. It's pretty obvious. But rest assured, this is no cyberpunk situation. The movie is good and, finished. That's important as well. And I want to sing its praises before I set about knocking it down a peg in my own weird way. First off, it is gorgeous. As one should rightly expect of Eggers, the filmmaking and general production quality are flawless. The world feels real, like it's imbued with a cold magic that's alien to modern senses. And the more violent aspects of that world are explored enough to slake the black metal bloodthirst of deviants like me, and maybe you, I don't know. I was brought out of the authenticity of the experience a little bit when Nicole Kidman shows up, because there is no way an Old Norse lady, queen or not, was able to get plastic surgery that severe. But I digress. It's Hollywood. We have to give some concessions to Hollywoodism. Nah, all that stuff is fine. I actually like pretty much everything the movie does. My problem is with the things it doesn't do. Maybe that's not fair, but it is my reaction. Nothing about this story really piqued my curiosity or pointed to deeper themes that I found particularly interesting. It's mostly just a straightforward revenge movie with a couple twists and turns along the way. One of the twists is fairly severe, but it doesn't really change the complexion of the narrative that much, or the direction of the narrative. The movie essentially signposts what it's going to do, and then it does it, and then it ends. And that's fine. I like movies that do that. I love Gladiator, for instance, but this is a Robert Eggers movie. I expected, and I dare say needed it to be weirder. There just wasn't much for me to latch onto here outside of the aesthetic and the filmmaking, no matter how strong those things were. Now, I know that this was Eggers' biggest movie, and that he worked with big production companies to get it made. I also know that they took away Final Cut from him, and while he says that the final product is good, he also says he wouldn't do a movie this big again unless he had control. This is interesting to me, and I have to wonder how much Eggers' statement is him playing nice with the studios for the sake of his career. And I also dearly wonder what his cut of the movie would have looked like. We may never know the answers to these things, but it's impossible for me to get these details out of my head when thinking about the Northman. As I wrap up, I do want to reiterate that this is a movie worth watching. It's far better made and infinitely more interesting than at least 90% of the movies out there, especially in terms of the plastic, committee-made products with no vision that get dumped into theaters these days. It has vision, it has craft, it has a real artistic flair, and for all the problems I have with it, it's still fairly unique. But I can't help wishing it would have been more. I wanted it to lodge in my brain and twist around like his other movies, but I didn't think much about this one after it was done. And that's a shame. And that's The Northman. Worth watching 100%, especially if you like that grimdark Viking aesthetic. But personally, I was disappointed. I hope Eggers tells a more evocative story next time and that he has full artistic control. That's it. That's me done for the day. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.